Well, we're on our way back from Oconto, the Bay of Green Bay. We just got finished up at the MWC event, and wow, it was a grind. But you know what? We ground out a top 10 finish, cashed a check, finishing in 9th place.
No live bait.
It was just phenomenal to be able to go out to a body of water that we talked about before is traditionally dominated with crawlers, and we did some different things while we were there.
Yeah, you know, pre-fishing we found some nice fish, pitching hair jigs.
A simple black hair jig,
yeah.
And that was the one right there. We caught some nice fish.
Nice fish. They were the right ones.
Boy, the sheephead had moved in, and they were spawning. And then the bay was absolutely full of alewives.
Yeah, there's areas there that we seen them that were 8 feet thick from the bottom up. And I don't know you can put enough lures in the water to compete with that type of bait.
You'd go for miles and miles and just mark these alewives. And, you know, we also were unfortunate. We had some northeast winds, which that really shuts the bite down on the bay. And when we got there, we had over 72, 73 degree water temps. By the end of the event, we were down to 65 degrees.
That holds those alewives down in that bottom bay like that, and you know it doesn't make them move north. They need that colder water, and it was just cold enough in that lower basin to keep them down there and hold them there. So we had to figure something out. We knew the weed fish were going.
One thing I can tell you is when conditions get tough, normally walleyes are going to do one of two things. They're going to hunker in the best weeds, or they're going to be out in the center of a system in the deepest water, and that's where the alewives were. So we felt better to compete with some cabbage, better to compete with the weed fish and get a few bites, and that's what we did, is we ground those weeds like crazy. In fact, I have never reeled in offshore planer boards so often, let them out, reel them in.
I actually had a bruise on my stomach from the rod handle. Hundreds and hundreds of times I reeled rods in.
He's just not as tough as he used to be.
And sometimes yours.
Yeah, I had you handling a few of my rods. We pulled 7 flicker shads, and those alewives have that purple look, and that is the bait we caught almost every fish. That one and the purple tiger, so that new purple slick number 7 flicker shad and a purple tiger number 7 flicker shad. Those are the only 2 baits we used.
Most of the time we had all 4 rods running this bait right here.
It was unbelievable. It was just crazy how they were keyed in on it, and phenomenal that we were sitting in 7th place after day 1. Had a great day. 36 zeros on the Bay of Green Bay in June.
38 day 2.
It's unbelievable how tough that fishing was. And you know what? Most of those guys had crawler harnesses down, and I feel like we were at an advantage because we couldn't put a crawler out. Instead, we targeted those bigger fish in the weeds.
Yeah, you know, and we were in a group of boats. There was 10 boats by us. We ended up on top on all 10 of those boats. Pulled the most fish and the biggest basket.
Yeah.
So that just tells you all those other boats were pulling harnesses. You could tell because we were passing every one of them.
Yeah, they were going a lot slower trying to get the fickle bite, and I think just us getting reactionary bites, fish flying out of the weeds, we put together enough fish. We caught 6 fish for 23 pounds and ended up in 9th place, cashing a check, and now we're in a real good situation for the championship.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't know, we're somewhere in the top 10 right now. Obviously, there's some guys that don't have their 3 events in, but it's looking really good for us.
Been a phenomenal deal with no live bait, artificial only, and putting ourselves, we're going to be in the top 10 for Team of the Year as it sits now, and should have a great chance of making that championship next year in Ohio.
You know, one more key thing about that event, the guys that won, artificial only. They were pitching jigs, they were casting cranks, artificial only.
They did, you know,
60 pounds in 2 days. Incredible.
Ryan Dempsey and Adam Adler, they caught 60 pounds of walleyes using rattle baits, using jigs and plastic, a lot of different things. So you're 100% correct. No live bait won this tournament.
No live bait.
So a big deal. Keep tuning in to artifishalleyes.com and Artificial Eyes on Facebook as we continue throughout the summer to bring you some articles, some tips, and some tricks on how to catch more walleyes without the use of bait.